All right, everybody, welcome out to the Lagerman Guys Craft Beer Show. It is Tuesday, February the 25th, 2025. Jersey Johnny coming at you. With me, as always, is none other than Mr. Beer Samurai. Say hello, Mr. Samurai.
I am still writing down notes for the top three.
You are?
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
There's a lot of them. Damn.
There's a lot of them. Yeah, it took a while to go through. I figured it out. What are you eating there?
I've got peanut M&Ms.
Why do you have peanut M&Ms?
Well, you can't find goobers anymore anywhere, right?
No.
Unless you go to the movies.
Well, he's in Mayberry, I heard.
Goober Pyle?
No, that's Gomer.
Wasn't Goober his brother?
Maybe.
But Gomer Pyle's from Mayberry. Anyway.
That's true.
But it's National Chocolate Covered Peanuts Day, and this is
Happy National Chocolate Covered Peanuts Day.
Mm-hmm. So anyway,
I have one of sorts.
I
have a dark chocolate covered peanut butter cup.
Well, peanuts made it, so that
the
counts.
Trader Joe's version, if you will. It's pretty good. Yeah.
Oh, Reese's is not good enough for John.
No.
Mm.
Reese's is more than good enough. I just happen to have those in the fridge. So.
Oh, you keep them in the fridge?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You keep the house that hot that there's risk of melting?
No, they're just better cold.
Oh, okay. Just like beer.
Pretty much, which leads us to why we're here
on
the show.
Why are we here?
We are here.
Oh, we got beer to drink.
We have beer to drink.
But we have very special beer to drink tonight.
We have very special beer to drink tonight. And just to get one more piece of
ephemera
news, there you go, out of the way. Happy National Clam Chowder Day as well. So for those who celebrate.
Yeah, I didn't have clam chowder today.
You didn't?
No.
All right.
I had Singapore made fun. Does that count?
Yeah, why not?
There was shrimp in it.
There you go. Close enough.
Yeah.
It's your own kind of chowder.
Yeah.
Or the
chow. It was chow.
It was chow, right?
Durr.
Yeah, okay. All right. On that note, let's. I'm thirsty. You're thirsty. We're thirsty. Let's bring on our guest and get.
Yeah, let's class the joint up a little bit.
Please, let's class the joint up a little bit. Please welcome to the show, man who needs no introduction, but we'll introduce him anyway. Mr. John Holl, how are you, sir?
Boy, award-winning banter as always, fellas. It's my goodness.
That was weak as fuck. That was one of the worst openings of any show we've had in a long time. That was.
Boy, and that's saying something. So that's
yeah. Hey, we pushed the boundaries here.
That's good.
We pushed the boundaries.
Good on you, fellas. Thanks for having me here.
Thanks for joining us. Absolutely.
I love how your hoodie, the ties are so thick that it almost looks like you've got an untied bow tie on.
Yeah,
right
it's
now.
this I don't know who makes this, but it's a good thick one, and I enjoy it. And it's casual Tuesday here at the house.
Casual Tuesday at the house.
Get more dressed up for you guys.
No, absolutely.
No, not for us. Why would you do that? It's just us.
Yeah.
There you go. So, how are you on this fine evening?
I'm doing really, really well. I'm firmly in middle age now, and so
welcome.
Well, yeah.
6:45 p.m. I'm already starting to think about bed.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm doing really well.
When you start to think about bed right after you finish eating breakfast, that's when you got to.
That's also well. I mean, that's any good hangover day. But,
well, I was going to say
too, yeah.
I've definitely done that.
Right, exactly. So, well, we're here to talk about smoke. This is our third annual smoke beer show, and of course, we couldn't do it without the This Week in Rauchbier man himself,
the senior smoke, Sultan of Smoke.
Sultan of Smoke. There you go.
The Rauchinator.
Rauchinator. Gotta love that one. So we're going to talk about a bunch of stuff, but let's pour some beer first. John, I'm not sure if you're drinking.
I am.
All right. What are you imbibing?
Well, fellas, being firmly here in middle age,
Okay.
and I put time restrictions on
We have a
my
theme for the show here.
time here today for a reason. So I am drinking Frost Gatorade that has been mixed with an entire bottle of Miralax.
Oh,
because I have a colonoscopy in the morning.
Mhm.
I
And I
feel for
wanted
you.
to I was gonna not come on the show because at any moment now I may have to hang up and run. If you guys have done this, and I hope you have,
Quite literally.
so
Oh, yeah.
I'm here
Several
really
times.
to talk about men's health and the importance of listening to doctors, trusting science, and being proactive about stuff. So this has been in my fridge all day. I've been on a broth and jello diet since this morning. I have my Ducalax pills, and I'm going to take in 15 minutes one more time. And so I anybody who's listening out there, and I think it's just Brian Boak at this point. If you haven't had your pipes checked in a while, now's the time to go do it. It's cancer rates are on the rise. It's happening younger and younger. And having just turned 45 last month, this is my first foray, and it's good to be here with you guys as I embark on this journey.
We're going to want tasting notes as you go.
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely.
So,
And
it's interesting. The Frost Gatorade has that blue raspberry type thing, slight citrus. There's nothing like really to it. It's like citric acid and
Right.
blue. But the Miralax, which I'm largely unfamiliar with having to use, really sort of thickens it up. So it's now got some body to it. It's got some mouthfeel going on, and having to drink 32 ounces in an hour. It's
I certainly hope that you don't have happened to you what happened to me once, where I was 3/4 of the way done. It all came up and I had to start over again.
oh geez.
It is not fun.
Mhm.
It is not fun. They have
to you guys, that would be a different version of the blue screen of death.
It would
yes.
definitely be. It would 100%.
Oh, aqua blue screen of death.
All right. So let's migrate from this shitty conversation.
Oh,
Somebody had to go there, and of course it was going to be me. But I could have said crappy conversation and been a little bit more,
Yeah, I think I started.
Yeah, whatever.
I've already dropped an F-bomb on the show, so just have
Well,
that.
this is true. This is true. So, in any event, well, we wish you well, John, with your journey.
Thank you very much
this evening, and
good luck with the test results.
And
thank you.
Everything. But moving on to
go get your butts checked.
There you go.
That's my public service.
Absolutely.
What are you guys drinking?
Jay, what are you drinking?
Well, we are starting the show with a beer from Vancouver. It's called Into the Woods. It is a Goliski from Main Street Brewing. It's got a little is that a raccoon on there? It's cute. So we wanted to start with this, because with the beers we have following it, we wouldn't be able to taste this. So 3.2.
We're both drinking it right there from Aslan Graves. He was on the show a couple months ago, and he had sent these to us, and we promised him we would drink them on the show, on the Smoke Beer Show, with you, John.
With John Holl.
I mean, my package never arrived.
He requested it. He requested it. So, he only
wait a second. We're not allowed to have your address, remember? To be able to give it to people.
Very true. Very true. Send it to Augie's house.
Send it to Augie's house. And pick it up there. Yeah.
Everyone's got his address. He's had fanboys show up at his front door.
I've printed it out on cards and I hand it out, especially if
Oh, I just bring a Sharpie with me anytime I know I got to go to the bathroom. Good time.
On that note, all right, a couple of comments to catch up on. You're right, Brian Boak is watching, and he said, "Cheers on the road, so may not be able to comment much." And he did say, "Hi, John. Good to see you." Of course, he's referring to you, John, not John. So.
It's up to interpretation.
That's how we chose to interpret it.
That was my interpretation. So there you go. All right. Cool. So what is new?
I'm liking this.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's very light. That's
Well,
very easy
as
to
it should
drink.
be.
You know,
And you can taste the wheat.
you can taste the wheat. You can taste the very mild smoke, but it's there. It's not.
Yep.
Would you give it a? What would your BSU rating be?
Probably be about a 2.4.
I go a little lower. I go a little lower. Yeah, I go a little lower. So we'll talk more about that in a second. John, what's new in the world of This Week in Rauchbier?
You know what's everything is new. Everything's exciting. Everything is smoky awesome. So last week I was in Chicago for the day because Dovetail, the great Chicago brewery, held their annual Thank You for Smoking Festival.
Yes.
And it's a
Marty brought it up on the show last week. Yes.
What's that?
Marty brought it up on the show last week.
Great. Yeah, it's they do it every year on a Sunday morning, and doors opened at 10 a.m. this year, and by 10:03 a.m. the place was packed. And all they have on is Rauchbier, and maybe the Dovetail Lager. And so it was quite incredible to see dozens and dozens of people there early on a Sunday morning. Clearly, they went to early mass so that they could get there in time for first pours. And we recorded a special episode of This Week in Rauchbier for the assembled patrons. That will come out on April 1st on the Drink Beer Think Beer channel over from All About Beer. And but what was really cool is that they opened up to other breweries to pour their Rauchbier, and
Nice.
mostly Chicago breweries or Chicagoland area breweries that came out. And boy, it didn't disappoint. I mean, Dovetail is already so good at making Rauch in different ways and experimenting in different ways and going all full bore with the ingredients. But it was really fun to see some of the other interpretations. So, who was there? They had Revolution had one there. Was Hopewell, Hop Butcher of all things, and Art History. All made Rauch beers to send to this. And I know we're going to talk about top three at some point, and I'm, again, being sort of mindful of my dwindling glass and therefore my dwindling time with you guys. So I wanted to very quickly just talk about two of the beers that really stood out to me. The first being from Sketchbook. So Cesar Marin, who is the founder of Sketchbook, which is in Evanston, Illinois, he won the Sam Adams Long Shot Homebrew Contest like a dozen years ago, like 10 years ago, on his Graditsky.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
And I was one of the judges at the time. I didn't know who Cesar was at the time, but we were all just sitting around drinking. I was like, this is incredible. This is really, really good. And winning that contest, I think, helped him open Sketchbook a couple years later. And it's one of the beers that they launched with, and they're still making it today. And it's fun to drink. It's light. It's refreshing. It has that nice little kiss of smoke to it, and a little bit of that minerality water content to it as well. It's just it's a lot of fun. But the other guest beer that they had on that really stuck out in my mind was from Revolution of all places. Rev obviously does great IPAs. They're known for their wood barrel aged stuff. But they had one that they called Ashes and Echoes, and it's 6.2%, and it's a smoked porter, but they put Lapsang Souchong tea in there.
Oh, really?
And Lapsang already has that smoky phenolic to it. I've done tea rubbings and tea tastings in the past. There's a great company called First Tea that does a lot of stuff in the brewing industry and is also a sponsor of the Brewer to Brewer podcast. So I'm full disclosure there while I sing their praises. And I don't know if Rev used them or not, but Lapsang has this smoky thing to it. But what was fascinating was when they put it together with the smoked porter, all I could taste was Fernet. It was like a very fresh, refreshing bottle of Fernet with like a little bit of chocolate on the back. And something about the addition of the tea to a smoked porter just did that. And
wow,
I went back 3 or 4 times for it just because I couldn't get enough of it. And it was so just just wild. So
Wow.
I've been talking for a lot now, but I think what we're seeing is a lot in the smoke space. A lot of breweries still honoring the past and making consistent smoke regularly, and then experimenting with the style as well for new results. And so Dovetail as ground zero for that was really exciting last week.
That's awesome. It really is. Yeah, when Marty had brought it up, and he
he was there the day before for
he was there for
his Hall of Fame thing,
for his launch, yeah. And then he I think he pulled up a picture? He pulled up a picture with
did he?
with John.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, he did. Yeah,
with me.
Yes, with you. Yes, not with him. Just you were in a picture. He was talking about the
a picture of the event.
The event.
Oh, I was going to say, is Marty carrying a picture of me in his wallet?
He carries a picture of you in his wallet.
Yeah. He's my background on my cell phone, but
I thought you were his emergency contact, right?
I thought that's what it was. Yeah.
Not anymore. I'm a very unreliable contact.
And oddly enough, the picture of you on the back.
I'm good from like 11 a.m. to like 3 p.m.
And you're good, yeah.
On like Tuesdays and Thursdays, but aside from that, it's all bets off.
Then it's nap time.
And oddly enough, the picture that he has in his wallet of you has Augie's address on the back of it. But
yeah. If found, please return.
Please return.
In a shopping cart.
But we had said though to him last week, we're like, okay, well, they do this every year. Dave and I got to get out there for it next year. We got to go.
Yes.
It's 100% has to happen. So, but yeah, that sounded like a fantastic event. It sounded like something we really should have been going to. But that's great, and I love the fact that. Look, yes, there's a lot of breweries out there that are sticking to tradition, the brew and the smoke. I can't help but, and we've talked about this too. I really see an increase in it. I mean, more breweries are brewing more Rauch beers and more, experimental smoke beers than they have in the past. And
it's unstoppable, fellas.
Yeah. Yeah. You started something. You had this little pebble. It became a snowball.
You sprinkled some.
I found,
Rauchinator dust on it.
I found the powder keg that was ready to explode, and just brought the match to it. One of the things that I brought out that I wanted to bring up as well is that Dovetail obviously had their all of their Rauch beer on their traditional, their smoked Helles. They had a bourbon barrel aged Rauch Doppelbock.
That's Marty talked about that one.
I know.
Yeah, the Rauch Creek, which is fun. They had a tequila, one that was aged in tequila barrels. But what they were doing that I found really interesting, were taking their traditional Rauch beer or one of their Rauch beers, and then adding something to it for fun flavor combinations. So they did, where is it? So you could get a smoked Radler, where you could get the Rauch beer cut in half with some root beer, and it had this Tootsie Roll thing going on with it, which was a lot of fun.
I can imagine, yeah.
And then they had one that they were calling Girl Scout Camp, where you just chase a Dovetail Rauch beer with an Underberg. And that's kind of fun as well. And it has that little minty thing that kind of comes out, that little botanical thing.
Maybe I'll do that after my last one. I do have one Underberg left.
There you go.
I've really come to be fond of Underbergs and a lot of those digestives. But whenever I go to any of these festivals that exist now, like Human Robots, Log Jammin', or you go down to Little Beers for Good Word, and honestly, anybody who's listening should be going down to Little Beers 5 on March 29th in Duluth, Georgia. I think it's just the best festival going these days. But there's so much Underberg being passed around that the next morning when I wake up in the hotel, I have it in all of my pockets, and most of them are still full.
You keep the caps though, right? You trade in the caps.
I don't.
You've got it.
I don't need another hobby. Also, I don't know if I need that reminder of how much Berg I've had. If it's just like in a little cup on the table like that, that doesn't strike me as a healthy reminder of my my festival drinking.
Now you're in the Chicago area. What are your thoughts on Malort?
I love it.
Excellent.
I think it's great. What's interesting is, and I hope you guys have read Josh Noel's book on
I have
Malort,
not yet. I have not read it yet.
So
No.
good. It really tells the story. And my first exposure to it was probably 2013, 14, something like that, at a bar called Patty Long's, which is no longer there. And but it was this great, dive-ish bar to go to. And one of the bartenders offered me a shot. Like, oh, you ever had this? It's a Chicago institution, and it was a lot of fun. And from reading the book, realized that was sort of ground zero for a lot of the Malort resurgence in Chicago at the time. So, I think it's a fun thing to a fun thing to be drinking.
What's weird is I think my first experience with the Malort was the day that I met you in person for the first time, which was at Hunahpu, and that was the brewery that won Hunahpu had brought it.
Was I at Hunahpu?
You were at Hunahpu once, yeah.
I mean, physically.
Yeah, you were physically there. You were physically there, complete with bow tie.
Oh God, yeah. Younger me was, a bit much.
But it was why can't I remember? I can never remember the name of the brewery from Jacksonville. But they had won Hunahpu that year, best beer, best brewery, and they introduced me to Malort.
Fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a fan.
Actually, just got a fresh bottle yesterday.
Nice.
So
You're insane. Of course, I drank some of your other bottles.
Yes, you did. You did help me with that.
Regular listeners to Steal This Beer will know about the Suite of Philly shows that we did last year at Sacred Vice, where Justin, their brewer owner, hosted us. Was not on any of the shows, but hosted us and encouraged us to have a shot of Malort before each of the 4 shows that we did, and then sometimes a shot to finish it as well. And those shows really showed the effect that long-term Malort can have on a person.
You were very happy?
We were something. We wound up at Human Robot at some point, and then I took a train home with Justin Kennedy that night that I mostly remember. And Augie, I think, was in bed by about 7:30.
The next morning or that night?
Yes.
I was going to say,
yeah.
7:30 a.m. Yeah, that makes much more sense. So, on that note, I did want to bring up one thing, a side note to any of this conversation. But Don had come on the show a couple months ago, and I had brought up. We were going back and forth. We were talking about the day we went to Barnacle Bills, and I told him I brought up again the drink that the concoction, if you will, that because Augie had ordered you the pina colada. And he made he floated the pina colada on top of an O-dub.
No,
if you recall. Okay, so Don didn't remember.
So you and Augie were having a fever dream together, a shared fever dream.
Apparently, Augie and I had a fever dream.
I left
together.
on my own power that day, so I.
Oh no, you definitely did. I was sitting next to Don. He was holding the spoon. Augie was
we're going over the back of the moon.
Floating the. It was floating the.
So here's the thing that I love about Augie,
and then he handed it to you to take a sip.
Those types of things so much that I just have stopped paying attention to his nonsense.
It's called fuckery. Remember, it's called fuckery.
It does make sense.
So, I believe you that it happened. I don't think I drank it, or if I did, I did.
You did. Yeah, you did. There's it happening right there. There's Don holding the glass and Augie holding the spoon.
You know what I have to say about it? Instantly forgettable.
What? Well, that's why I brought it up now because okay, when Don was on the show, it was only maybe about 3 weeks after it happened. It's about 4 months ago now, right? So it's believable. It's obvious that it could be forgotten for you, but he didn't even remember 3 weeks later.
Yeah.
It's all the creatine that he's downing. That's what it is. Yeah,
that's probably what it is.
Yeah.
Anyway.
He's benching up what? He's up to 75 pounds now on the bench.
He's that man is a force. That guy is an inspiration to me. He is up every morning. He's doing it. He's the thing that I really like about Don is one, he's committed to his lifting and his regimen, but he's real about it. Where he also will post like when he's not successful at things, and I think in this day and age when so much of a person's persona is curated online for only like the cool stuff or the seemingly cool, like whatever, that Don shows the real side of things. I commend him tremendously for that.
Yeah, that's why I have no problem poking fun at him, because he pokes fun at himself.
Oh, he's great.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Yeah. Which we call it. Al Gatulich commented, background on the cell phone is much better than an emergency contact. For you having Marty as a background.
Yeah, so it's a callback.
Yeah. And then it's callback, yeah. And then he said hi.
So
John.
he specified which John. Thanks, Al.
He specified which
devil's in the details.
What up, Al?
And Paolo. Paolo. Cheers.
Hey, Paolo.
Cheers,
How
Paolo.
you been? Oof,
How is
it
Italy?
Is pretty.
It's late
after
there.
1 in the morning.
It's 1 after 1 in the morning now.
Boy, you guys have international listenership. Look at you guys.
Yeah, we do.
We do.
Actually, he was on the show when I was over there from we were at a craft beer and burger bar, Urban Farmhouse in Pordenone.
Urban Farmhouse in Pordenone.
With Fabio.
With Fabio, right. Cool. So what's new with John Holl? What's new with All About Beer? What's new about any books in the works? Any
probably
new
no. All About Beer's doing really well. We've been really fortunate to bring on some underwriters this year from throughout the brewing industry, which is going to allow us to pay writers and photographers for original content. I think you guys know the beer industry has. I like that Al is just saying, it's like, hey, Al, how you doing? And then he's responding in the comments that he's good. No work until Friday, married 25 years. It is amazing she stayed with you this long, but I mean, broadcast.
Congratulations to her.
Congratulations.
The
glow around him is just, it's enveloping, it's warming.
I'm trying to figure out if he's back from Paragon or commenting from Paragon.
I don't know. It's probably back. It's probably home from Paragon at this point.
It's Tuesday night.
That's a fun spot right up the road for me. Yeah.
So
I don't think it's a secret that beer media has changed in the last couple of years. We've lost a bunch of sites. We've obviously lost a lot of print. There's been a focus towards content creation on Instagram and TikTok and things like that, which I think serve a purpose in its own way. But a lot of the stories of beer are being lost. A lot of the documenting the trends or flavors or personalities around it have been lost. And I think a lot of that has to do with being able to pay writers and photographers for good original work. And so this underwriting program that we launched this year has been great. We've been able to start assigning stuff out for stories that matter to the industry and matter to curious beer drinkers. And that's where we're putting a lot of our focus right now. I mean, the podcasts are doing well. Em and Don's podcast, I think, is such a fun thing to listen to. And the Brewer to Brewer podcast are fun things to listen to. My show's still chugging along, but it's for us, it's about content creation and article creation and bringing good journalism back to the beer space. And that's always been all about Beer's mission since 1979. And to, be able to steward the brand right now and to really be able to write checks to people for good work is an awesome feeling. And, I want to keep doing more of it. So, it's necessary. Journalism is as important now than it's ever been, and that continues to the beer space.
Very nice.
There you go. 100%. I agree 100% with that one. And you're talking about just the podcast. This sits on my desk right next to my computer.
Oh, look at that.
There you go.
That's the original one, wasn't it? That was from the first live show that we did. Was that Mitch Steele?
That's Mitch Steele. That was the
that
first one with Mitch
Barcade?
Steele. Yep.
It was at
which
Barcade.
is now closing its doors.
In June. So we're going to go back and do a couple more shows from there. Justin Kennedy tells me. I don't know when. We might tell people in advance, and then folks can come out and drink with us afterwards if they want. But yeah, that's a loss. I was there cold openings and opening night, and I remember after Sandy,
I was there as well.
when martial law was declared in Jersey City, and we lived downtown. Last call was happening at about 4:00 in the afternoon because the sun was going down, and we were having. I had a lot of fun days and nights there, and what Paul and Janelle and their team did. Michael behind the bar and Carl behind the bar, I think really helped that area of Jersey City, Newark Avenue, grow into what it is now. And I think in some ways, them being uncompromising and true to their vision in an awesome way, probably hurt a little bit as, things became a little bit more expensive or actually a lot more expensive and a little bit more, well-heeled or image conscious or whatever you want to say. But what a cool concept. And it was such a great part of my drinking life. I'm going to miss it a lot. And the one in the city that they're putting in down in the financial district, hope that goes well for them. I'll try to get in once or twice, but
get down there too. But let us know if you definitely.
We're going to do something with Steel this. It was too much. It's too much of an important part of our history to let it pass without acknowledging it.
100%. Yeah, I was there. I think you were. I don't know if you were there. I was there at the cold opening and the grand opening as well. And it's a shame that it's closing. I mean, kudos to them keeping the others. They're flourishing to whatever extent you want to call flourishing, right? But it's a shame that they have to close it. And they've closed others that they've opened too. I mean, it's not the first one they've closed. But I just want to catch up on one thing. Al said he is drinking, so and he said he's back from Paragon and home. We have things cooking over here. Stay tuned. Interesting. And then Wanderback Brewworks said really enjoying the Brewer to Brewer podcast.
Oh, that's the Cape May guys, right? The old Cape May guys.
Yes,
I heard from them when they first opened, and then I haven't heard boo from them since. So I'm glad they're still out there doing stuff. And
there you go, guys. Reach out to them. There you go.
Yeah,
absolutely. So, do you have anything else coming up?
I got something coming, but I don't know. I don't know how much more time I have here.
You want to jump into the threes before the baby arrives?
No,
there's some brewing.
It's all just the normal stuff these days. It's life is it's a charmed life to be able to do what I do and to write about beer and to hang out and shoot the shit with you guys. And I'm grateful for everybody who stops by all about and everything that we're doing. But there's, aside from going down to Goodword in a couple of weeks for their Little Beers Fest, which again, everybody should go to that festival.
I wish I could. My cousin's son is getting married that day. So,
and then I'm just trying to think of what else we might have going on. Yeah, we'll be at the Craft Brewers Conference doing some podcasts. We're going to be bouncing around to various places out there in Indianapolis, but just follow on social media to keep up at All About Beer.
There you go. That's what you got to do. All right. We'll touch on a couple other things before you go, but before anything else, let's jump on our top
before
three.
We jump into what's our second. Did we agree on our second beer? Are we going right to the?
No, you're doing the Ula and I'm doing the Heater Allen. So while John's going over his, we can open ours. But this week's top three, as we do the last couple shows, is the top three favorite smoked beers we've had over the last year. So obviously this is going to change unless you had the same one. But top three favorite smoked beers we've had over the last year. So John, start us out.
Which John?
I'm sorry.
See what you did there.
John Holl, start us out.
I'm going to go with those beers that I was talking about before. I think the that Revolution Ashes and Echoes it really just sort of knocked my socks off. I had a really fun one that Graditsky from Sketchbook
Right.
is really, and then honestly the Schlenkerla, the Oak Smoke Doppelbock is just wowzers. Like it really is.
I haven't seen that one yet.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I think we had it on an episode of Steal This when we were up in Maine last year, and I also and they had it on at Dovetail as well. So
very cool.
Yeah.
There you go. All right. And Dave, why don't you say what beer you're drinking?
Well, I'm drinking. So. Well, let me go through my list and then I'll tell you. Because it's on the list.
Oh, it is. All right.
I'm going to give.
I didn't realize it was.
I'm going to give a couple of honorable mentions because a couple months after you were on the show last, I was in Bamberg. So sitting in Schlenkerla. Yeah.
How can anything from Schlenkerla be an honorable mention?
Because it's kind of cheating because it's Schlenkerla, right? Drinking their Märzen off cask in their restaurant, that's kind of special. Mm-hmm. Speaking of special, the other honorable mention from Bamberg, we actually spent the night at Spezial.
Like a night drinking there or a night sleeping there as well?
Both.
Yeah, isn't it great?
That's awesome.
It's so nice to just walk up that staircase after leaving the bar.
Well, the thing is, it depends on how many you have. That staircase is a little uneven. So stumbling up that staircase can be a little dangerous. It's better than going down it, though. It's got a couple of curves and some irregular steps, so you got to be careful. So, but that's so those are the honorable mentions. What I had while I was over there. From what here, I've got to go with. This was really hard because there's so many good ones I had. I'm going to start off with the Wojo, which was a Grodisky from Double Tap. Those guys over there, they're doing some pretty good stuff. They're nailing some really classic styles, and that Grodisky was actually very, very, very good. Another one I'm going to go with is Drownlands Frenva, I guess is how it's pronounced. That was spot on, perfect smoke to it. And then another one in there. Yeah, I know, John. I'm going over. What was that?
So you have three number threes? Is that what we got here?
Sure. Behind the Times. Treehouse is Behind the Times. Is a very, very good one.
Treehouse.
Yes, that was. I mean, when John went up and brought back a bunch of Treehouse, he brought back a bunch of the Rauchs, and of the ones that I had, that was my favorite of the three. But my number one is one I'm drinking right now, and that's this one. I love Schwartz beers. I love Rauch beers. You combine them together into Erla, and I'm in heaven with this beer. I love this beer. So that was my number one. Nice. So I had to find it after that show. If you remember, you drank it on the show, John, right?
I drank it on the show.
And then I went and had to find it. I had to sneak out a blind tiger to go around the corner to grab it.
You did. So anyway, okay. Mine are. I'll make it easy. My number 3 is the Von Trapp Live Oak collab, the smoked Helles they did.
Ooh, I'll be at Live
that was
in April.
That was pretty tasty. My number 2 is a Treehouse, but not Behind the Times. It's
Do you like slow burn better?
Slow burn. I like a little. Just edges it out a little bit for me. And my number 1 is your number 1.
Erla.
It's the
Nice.
Erla. Yeah. That beer is that. Yeah, a smoked Schwartz beer from Schlenkerla. Yeah, you're not getting better than it. That's not changing anything right there. So, and unfortunately, I definitely would absolutely love to try your top 3, John. So, And yeah, that Grodzisky sounds amazing from Sketchbook, and the Ashes and Echoes.
Oh,
That
yeah.
sounds amazing. That sounds like a hell of an experience.
Yeah,
It was. I hope to see you guys there next year.
We hope to be there next year.
100%, 100%. I'll just throw up my my second beer is from Heater Allen. It's a route beer,
Nice.
smoked Hellas, route
Nice.
beer hell. That's what it's called. So anyway, all right. Don't want to keep your
Thank you.
I'm
almost ready for.
I love the fact that you had that in the glass you had it in. So
That's
it's a Fen
it.
Pilsner
It's,
glass. It's awesome.
Fellas, thanks for having me on. I'm sorry. I'm sorry I wasn't drinking with you, but it's for a good cause. Remember, men's health is important. Your health is important. Go get checked, and a little bit of minor inconvenience is worth a clean bill of health. So.
We'll see in
100%.
about 45 minutes to an hour how minor of an inconvenience you think this is, John.
You know what? I'm saying in the grand scheme of things. Yeah.
It's temporal. Yes, it is.
Yeah.
But it's going to be you're going to be in Rauchbier hell. Yeah, it's right there.
There you go.
It's not fun.
It is not. But
it's not fun. After a while, they don't make clouds soft enough for you. I'm telling you that right now.
There you go. But once it's done
for 5 years.
Yeah.
It's
you're going to get one of the best naps of your life.
Yes.
It is that when they put you out, you are out. I remember one time I did it. The anesthesiologist had his finger on the button, looked at me, and went, "Bye-bye," and I was out.
Nice.
Yeah, it's effective.
Well, I'll give you guys the full report afterwards. We'll bring the chart on next time I come on. But
send us the vid.
Thanks for being such great boosters for Rauchbier and for
100%.
giving All About Beer a platform to come on and talk about all the cool stuff that we're doing. I appreciate it.
Love doing it.
And send us the video of the procedure, and we'll post it on the website.
The snake cam. We'll get that going for you guys.
The snake cam going on there. There you go.
Live from my colon, direct to your live stream here on Restream.
Is that a hotline? What is that?
Probably. Yeah. You never know.
Just little people sitting there drinking beer out of it.
All right, I don't want to laugh too hard.
This week in Rauchbier. Yeah, no, you don't want to do that. You don't want to do that.
No, thanks again, and thanks for all those cool little notes that everybody. Jeff dropped in. That was nice, and
yes, Jeff did too. I'll put them up in a minute, but yeah, Jeff Morello from Double Tap from what Dave was saying. We'll talk about that in a second, but
all right, cheers, guys.
All right. Thank you so much. Good luck with everything, and give us a full report, and we'll have a beer soon.
Cheers.
You got it. Cheers. Bye. All right, cool. That was John Holl, the founder of This Week in Rauchbier, and of course the All About Beer, Steal This Beer, his writing, his editing for all of the magazines that he does for. He just a super guy. If you don't know him, read his stuff. Seriously. But if you're watching this podcast, something tells me that you've at least heard of him, let alone haven't read his stuff yet. So, Jeff Moriello, actually from Double Tap Brewing, he commented and he said, "Hey guys, just popped on for a quick listen. Looks like a great show going on." And he said, "Perfect timing because you were talking about his beers." Yeah, well, Johnny says Oak Rope was the other one.
Oak Rope. I didn't have Oak Rope. I don't think
you didn't have Oak Rope. Oak Rope was good. Oak Rope was very, very good. If you didn't have Oak Rope, the next time Jeff brews it, make sure you get it.
We double check if I had Oak Rope or not. Because if I was there and it was on, I had it. There's no way I'm missing it.
And should have put this on Wanderback Beerworks, whatchamacallit. And he said, "Hey," there you go. I haven't had it. Wanderback Beerworks said, as John was signing off, he goes, "Thought that looked like line cleaner." He said,
"That was some line cleaner and some Gatorade."
Yeah, it was definitely line cleaner. That's for sure.
Clear out some.
So, how Yeah, how was your Erla? You're making me jealous that I don't have one. I'm gonna have to go get some. Did you get it at Carmine Street?
No, I ordered it from what you call it? Halftime.
You ordered. Oh, that's right. You ordered that one from Halftime, but you had it before.
Yes,
You went over to Carmine Street.
That's the
it,
first.
right?
I had bought two of them then.
That's when you snuck out of. Yeah, you got to. You don't sneak out of Blind Tiger. You stay at Blind Tiger until you're ready to leave. Then
actually, I didn't sneak out of Blind Tiger. To put it truthfully, Carrie was in the boot at the time, and we're going to go see Eddie Izzard do a one-man show, or one-woman show, as the case may be. He did
over on
the Playhouse right around the corner. I forget the name of it. He was doing Great Expectations. We also saw him do a one-person show of Hamlet last year, but no, just recently actually. And we also saw him at NJ Pack do his stand-up. But no, well, she hobbled off there. I said, okay, I'll meet you there. And then I ran off to Carmine Street. He had something on tap, so I snuck in a beer. And
of course, you can't go in there and not have something, not get a beer while you're looking to buy beer. I mean, it's just what you have to do at Carmine Street.
Beat it to the...
Jeff Moriello said, that's our cocaine Schwartz beer.
I got it next time you brew that. Hit me up on Facebook, Jeff, and let me know.
Fantastic. I think we talked about it when they were on the show last year. I think we talked about Oak Grove.
Yeah, next time you brew that.
Gotcha. So, listen, folks, everybody watching the show live, anybody rewatching the show after the fact, or anybody listening to the audio podcast on any one of our many audio streams services that are out there, you get a dual show tonight. You get a special treat.
You mean what's more special than M&Ms?
What's more special than M&Ms? Not much, except for this guy. No, this guy right here. No, so John Holl, he we talked before. He was going to be able to stay on for not the entire show, and we didn't want to give you just.
We didn't know why, but we learned very quickly why.
We learned why. There was an inkling in there, but we learned why. But if you recall, the first beer that Dave and I drank was from Main Street Brewing. That one there. No, this one here. Right. No, this one.
Yeah, I think you're right.
From Main Street Brewing up in Vancouver, British Columbia. And the why don't you just bring him on the show? Please welcome. Just bring him on. Here you go. Aslan, welcome to the show.
Hey, how's it going? Nice to be back.
There you go.
I gotta say, I really enjoyed this.
Yeah, it held up, eh?
Yeah.
It held up very well.
Great.
My God.
I got to join you guys here. I've got television people here from Bizarre Brewing in Seattle. Don't know if you've had any of their beers, but unfortunately, not smoked. But that's all right. I put together some of the highlight smoked beers from the past year for myself. But that
is a good beer.
Oh, there you go. Great. Heck yeah.
So, I don't think I've had. Did we get to Bizarre at all? No, we did not. We didn't get to Bizarre.
Yeah. Derek and Colette are doing some incredible stuff there. Yeah, it's a great.
They are. They're doing very well.
Yeah. So tell me, what'd you think about it? What'd you think about the?
I thought it was fantastic.
Yeah.
Super light. But the smoke was like, let's put it this way. For 3.2% Grodzisky, I expected there to be a little less smoke.
Yeah.
But there wasn't. It was the smoke was more prominent, but not in a bad way. It wasn't overly smoked, right? It was for me, it was the perfect amount of smoke for a 3.2% Grodzisky.
That was that was.
And somebody else might have said, "No, there's too much smoke in that." Nope, that was perfect.
That was
from my opinion.
Yeah, surprisingly like sessionable beer, really hoppy too. Like I think we're targeting like 38 IBUs of using Polish Lubluski in there, so you get like a bit of that lemongrass and like noble hop character. And yeah.
Oh, okay. I was like, I think it read to me as wheat rather than lemongrass. Okay. I thought it was
I mean, lemongrass and pairs well with the wheat. So, I mean, it's just perfect.
And unfortunately, Y Yeast only released the Grodzisky yeast, I think, 6 months after I brewed that beer. So it's like a blend of Cali ale and fermented a little cold, and then Czech lager fermented hot. So kind of
Interesting,
fermented them separate tanks, blended them together. Yeah. And
very
yeah,
cool.
So,
Really enjoyed
did good.
that.
Yeah, I guess did good enough in Canada to get us a gold medal for the Canada Beer Cup. I should have grabbed that. Could have had it on here. Sorry. Been rushing around. Yeah.
it's all good. It's all good. Hey, you're trying to run a brewery. I mean, I am too, but it's earlier for you. It's 7:30. It's 7:30 here. It's still the afternoon.
I'm not. You know why? I like to travel.
Why?
I like having money.
Smart.
Yeah, well, that's what they always say, right? That's the age-old story of the brewing industry. You want to make $2 million in the brewing industry, start with. Sorry, you might make $1 million in the brewing industry. Start with $2 million.
Yeah.
You know, so,
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
Just like the it's just like all the boat people out there. Best day is the day you buy it and the day you sell it.
Oh,
Yep. Yeah. Exactly.
I've heard that one.
Yeah, you'll never be happier than those 2 days: the day you buy it, the day you sell it. Exactly. This is. Did I put this up? Yeah, obviously I did. Yeah, I'm drinking the Heater Allen
Awesome.
Raft Beer Hell.
Yeah.
Smoke Tellus. It's you know what? It's a little lighter on the smoke than I thought it would be. There's a little bit of age on this can, not much. But it's a pale lager. It's got. I'm getting a little bit like the smoke. There's a little bit of sweetness to the malt, which I think is taken away from a little bit of the smoke. Now that could be the age on the can, but it's not that old. It's only maybe 4 months on here.
Five that quickly.
Yeah.
But it's not bad. I'm saying it's not. I just thought if there was a little bit more smoke to it, would have been good. But it's still a fantastic beer.
2.1 BSUs.
For this one, I was going to go with with Aslan's. You know what? The more I drank it, I think you were spot on with that.
I think the dark chocolate interfered with it to begin with.
Yeah, because it was the first beer we had, and I had the dark chocolate in that peanut butter cup that I had. But yeah, I think you're spot on with this. This I'm going to actually say is probably a 1.9. Probably just
well,
shy.
It would have to by the scale. It has to be 2. It doesn't be an even number, but it has to be 2 or above. Because we
didn't even talk about this with John. Damn it, I wanted to bring that
finally finalized because we talked about the Bamberg smoke units when you were on the show last, I believe. Did we do that with you?
No, I don't.
We did.
No, I don't think I heard of it.
Well, because we've got IBUs, we've got SRMs, we got ABV. Yeah. We want something to measure smoke, so we came up with Bamberg smoke units.
Oh, it's not BS, like bullshit.
No. It still is.
No. There's a BSU scale for that, but that's a completely different
It's a scale of 0 to 5. 0 is no discernible smoke whatsoever. Yeah. 1 means that there is discernible smoke, but there's no smoke malts. There's not supposed to be smoke. 2 is where it starts off. There is smoke malts in this, but 2 is like hardly discernible. Despite the smoke malts, and then it goes up to 3, which is probably where we want that smoke beer to be at between 3 and 4. 4, it's like, wow, this is really, really hitting me with smoke. And 5 is, I can't drink this. This is just this is a forest fire in my face.
But now here's the question with that, right? And having this conversation with Aslan here, and you're speaking about his Rzucki. If we're saying 2 has smoke.
I'm sorry, I misphrased what 3 is. 3 is smoke. Man, there's the smoke.
So
yeah, like, three is an Urbach from Schrenkeler, or 3.
I mean, like typically with like it depends. I guess you're using oak, beechwood, whether like I know Wireman with their like the malt we used for that beer, they smoke it after malting. Whereas I can't remember the Polish maltster that does the wheat for like live oak, or that live oak gets their stuff from. They actually use the oak smoke as part of the drying process, so it's before it's malted.
Okay.
Before it's malted,
which is
apparently traditional and makes it a bit more, I think, round, like a bit deeper of a note. Yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But my point being is like, okay, so how much smoke do you want in a Grodzisky versus how much smoke do you want in a Smokehellas or a smoked Schwarzbier like the Erla that you were drinking. Obviously you want less smoke in a Grodzisky.
Yeah, that's why 2.4 is very. That's appropriate for Grodzisky. Right, because you want that light. Whereas when you get up to the Urbach, then you want that up around the 4. Right, where the Märzen needs to be at 3.
Which needs to be at 3. The Erla probably 3.5. The Urbach, Urbach you want it at 4.
Yeah,
Urbach you want. Yeah, you're drinking a glass of smoke. Right. Yeah. That's pushing the boundaries. And anything above 4, the closer you get to 5, it's undrinkable. It's good for the first sip, and you can go, holy shit, there's a lot of smoke in this. And then you take the second sip, and you're like, holy shit,
I can't finish this.
Smoke. You just. But I mean, that makes sense.
I find I always like.
I would say that if that's the case, then this is it.
Say again, Aslan?
Yeah. Oh, it's like I always find I like the smoke to be like present, but not like overwhelming the beer. And like, I feel like that's. But I mean, I'm also vegetarian, so there's a certain point where it like hits a tipping point, and I'm like, oh, this tastes like hot dog water. This reminds me like too much of like cured meats or something. And I'm like, that's not my jam.
When it gets a little meaty.
Well, no. Look, hey, I would. You definitely do you, and everybody is like that. And believe me, there's a couple of good friends of mine are my sister-in-law, everybody else, but I'm a big cured meat
totally
bacon guy. So not so much a hot dog water guy, right? So like, hot dogs, water, not so much, but in any event, they're the smokier the better. But the style of beer, right? For what you brewed though, for that Into the Woods was I'm not even blowing smoke. No pun intended. No pun intended.
Puns, you coward.
No, I intended the pun. It was. I think it was spot on. I think the smoke was perfect for that beer.
Yeah, it's
really
80.
That was good.
I think it was 90% oak smoked wheat, and then 10% dark wheat for the mash.
Nice. That was really nice.
And single decocted, so like we were able to get a bit of a deeper like sweetness to it, and surprisingly not a stuck mash.
It's always great when that happens.
It's one of those things. I either don't remember the day because there was nothing notable, or I don't remember the day because I blocked it out due to trauma. I'm not sure.
Gotcha. Rice hulls are lucky.
Yeah, rice hulls and bioglucanase. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
You gotta love it. The tricks of the trade, right? So, but stuck meshes are the absolute.
Haven't had one in forever, and then 2 weeks ago doing a rice cereal mash for a cold IPA. It was like, oh, all right, here we are.
Should have him talk to Jimenez. He's got a mash press.
Oh,
he's got a mash press.
No such thing as stuck stuff then.
Nope. Well, they wound up playing around with it. They did a 100% rye ale.
Nice. Interesting.
So, hey,
cool.
We got a mash press. Let's mess with some rye.
Yeah.
Oh,
exactly. Yeah. On that note, not to jump back to it this quick, but we'll talk more. But we did our top threes already.
Yeah, I got
with John because we wanted to do.
I caught a bit of John's, and
we wanted to give you yours.
Yeah, totally. I guess so. Let's start at the beginning of 365 days ago. I was over in Toronto, and like quickly popped in at just a handful of breweries on I don't know, not even 24 hours there. But going to Godspeed Brewery, I don't know if you guys have been there, but they've got incredible lager program. And I mean, helps that it's basically a core product. Ibushi, they call it a Godspeed style Helles lager, but it's basically just like lightly smoked. And it's that amount of smoked malt that is that like, it's present. You can define it as smoke, but after like the second, you're just like, what is that keeps me coming back for more? It's just like so drinkable. Yeah. Yeah. Godspeed in Toronto does incredible stuff. Like Bim and Jeff there. They also have the only 2 Pilsner Kel casks outside of Pilsen.
Oh, really?
Really?
2 40 heck Pilsner Kel casks, or like fooders essentially. That they just got repitched as well, so they do a huge amount of their one of their core beers is a pitch lined pils.
Jeez.
Oh, wow.
And yeah.
Dave, we're gonna have to take a trip.
Yeah, and I noticed that left field brewery is just around the corner. I'm already looking at the map, John. I'm already pinning. Already pinning.
Yeah, those guys are incredible lager spot. Then the other one is Otherlands. I don't know if you know that brewery in Bellingham. Ben Howe and his partner Christina. They've got Fire Next Time. It's like Bamberg style. What do they define it as? Yeah, Bamberg style smoked lager called Fire Next Time. But they had like an Oktober Fest kind of like harvest menu there, and it just paired so amazingly with the food and just rich, malty, deep. Actually, I think 2022 must have been John Holl's list. They're on the Craft Beer and Brewing's like best Pilsner in the States.
Looking at the neighborhood, and there's 4 breweries right in that neighborhood. You got Stemma, Solito, and Kolshan.
Yeah.
All right in that neighborhood. Cool.
Man, Bellingham for such a small place has such incredible beer. And like everything. Wild beers, lagers, hazy IPAs. And not just like one brewery that does it. Like there's like for every style, there's 2 breweries that do it out of this world.
I took the train through Bellingham. Actually, did we?
Should have stopped and just stayed there.
Well, I wouldn't have met you if I had. We were coming up from Seattle at the time.
Fair. Yeah.
We very nice.
But Otherlands is like always a highlight spot.
And that is Bellingham Bay is just picturesque and beautiful.
Oh yeah, stunning. Incredible oysters all throughout that area. Yeah. So oysters and smoked beer, that should be the goal next time.
Yeah, as a matter of fact.
That sounds like a good pairing. And then
smoke. You ever have smoked oysters?
Yep. Yeah, they were good.
Yep, fantastic.
Totally. I'm not like super vegetarian. Cultural experiences,
Wonder Brewing's there too as well. Cool.
Wonder, there you go.
Yeah. And then locally, I just had this the other day. Maybe I'm a little biased because I used to work there, Powell Brewery, but they're like known for their Old Jalopy ESB. They've won, I think, 3 World Beer Cup gold medals for the ESB. They just did a smoked ESB in a collaboration with Coast Mountain and Whistler called the Ode to Ular. As in Ular is the god of snow, but they smoked all their own malt for it. And it's definitely on that lower side. It's 2.3 on your BSU scale.
Your scale.
Nice.
But I love the idea of having smoked beer or smoked malt in a non-traditional style.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah, I mean, who puts smoked malt in the ESB, right?
Exactly.
That's fantastic. So that was it. Was it the Old Jalopy that they used smoked malt in, or did they have a different recipe for the?
I'm not sure. Like I had it at a craft beer bar down here. Looking online because they made it at Coast Mountain, it looks like it's 5.8%. Old Jalopy isn't that high, so
okay.
From what I remember when I brewed it, I don't know. Maybe Dave's bumped up the ABV while I was gone, but yeah,
that's awesome. Well, like we were talking about, I get your opinion on it. We talked about this with John. He brought it up. What a lot of the breweries are doing, and we just see that there's so much more, so many more smoked beers out there right now than ever before. And maybe it's because we're noticing them more, but I don't think it is. I think that there's more breweries, brewing. Now, it's not like it's. I mean, there are your breweries out there that are like he talked about Dovetail, and they do
Totally
smokes and talked about some
like
stuff,
Live Oak
right?
and stuff.
Now you're gonna have
they know
Live Oak, right? Live Oak. Yeah. They know what they're doing. They have that down. I mean, they're what Schlenkerla is over in Bamberg. It's they're not copying them by any means, but they're more aggressive when it comes to brewing smoked beers. But I'm talking about the breweries that never brewed smoke before. They're actually brewing decent smoke beers, and they're doing they won't do 9 at a time, right? But they'll do one, and they'll do another one and experiment with it. But it's becoming more and more something that people are migrating to. Brewers wise, as far as brewing it, and drinkers wise. I mean, I've always loved smoke beers. I drank smoke beers. Yeah, I drank smoke beers before they were cool.
Okay, but step off.
Yeah.
Oh,
you did too. So shut up.
Well, it's only because you and I frequented a particular craft beer bar who had it on there. That was on the NBA. There's a craft beer bar. Why am I blanking on the Cloverleaf Tavern? And they have a program of the.
So you can say blanking on the town.
It's Caldwell. I know it's Caldwell, but it's in Caldwell. It's Cloverleaf Tavern. They've got the NBA program, and what they do is there's a prescribed number, prescribed beers, and I think there's 32 of them. I think there's 32 of them, and
20,
and they run you through all different styles, and each time you drink one of them, you get a punch. Right in the face. No, on your card. And when you're done, you get a T-shirt. You get a take-home bottle, and then you're now eligible to go to the PhD. Now, MBA is the Master of Beer Appreciation, right?
Master of Beer.
And then the PhD is Professor of Hops and Drafts, and you can go on there, and you can do as many of those as you want. And if you get to different levels, you get different gifts from
it. MBA, you're getting one because the second one you do is a PhD. And then you can get your second PhD, third, fourth, fifth, ninth.
But there's two beers on that list a lot of people kind of dread on the MBA, and that is the because it's not just he's got the Urbach on that list, doesn't he? He's got the Urbach, so he's not even messing around. I'm taking you straight to Urbach. And the other one is you got your choice of either 120-minute IPA or worldwide stout. From Dogfish Head. So those are the ones that people usually dread going through.
But you know what? See, what you got to do too is, and I never even thought of this back in the day, and I wish I had, especially whenever he had them on tap, right? On tap at the same time. And that's make a black and tan with 120 and worldwide.
Actually, the only time I actually really enjoyed worldwide stout is when you
was that Heaven and Hell.
Is that the reverse engineered Cascadian Dark Ale?
I guess, if you want to look at it now,
No, the one time I enjoyed it, he ran it. Ryan ran it through a Randall with espresso beans.
Worldwide stout.
I was going to say not
120. That'd be awesome.
I had an incredible coffee IPA that was but all cold, like cold brew coffee, not espresso beans. Right. But that would be a bit much. Because 120 is let's face it. I mean, more recent 120s, I believe more recent 120s have only been around 16%. Only, right? But only been around 16. But they were for years. The rule of thumb was 120 is somewhere between 18 and 22%. They didn't give you the exact ABV. It was somewhere between 18 and 22%. So you had to kind of go off the case that it's going to be. Off the fact that it's going to be 20 or above, right? They need to sit for a while. Yeah, those beers need to sit for a while. To drink a brand new 120. I mean, that's even like Sierra Nevada's Bigfoot barley wine is you shouldn't even open that until it's at least a year.
Yeah,
100%. I mean, we
sorry. We got two brought up for us, and I would think it's a friend of the brewery was down in Chico area, brought some up, and he knows his stuff, and he's like, You'll never have it this fresh. So I brought you 2 because you should drink it just to try it, but leave this one in the fridge.
You got a little bit.
But you got it. Oh, I said it last week because we on the show with Marty last week, Marty Nachel. I said, I mean, it's an American barley wine. An American barley wine is obviously much more boozy, much more not boozy, but like alcohol.
Yeah, forward. There's not as much,
if you will.
caramel.
It's hot. It's alcohol. It's hot. It's much hotter, and more hoppy, right? So the longer you sit on American barley wine, the more English it gets.
Yeah.
Right. So, but some of those could be fantastic. So yeah, I always sit on Bigfoot for at least 2 years before I have one. Every year I'll get. I mean, sometimes I'll get a 6-pack. Most of the time I will get 2.
Yeah,
I'll get 2 bottles. You know, I'll go to a bottle shop that sells them by the bottle.
Yeah, that's all you need is more barley wines just choking up your apartment. Yeah,
that's not happening. So my one. So I have one at 2 years and I have one at 4 years.
There you go. Nice. That's what
I do. That's what I do with Bigfoots, and I'll have them. You know, mine's 2024, but Bigfoot comes out in January, right? So it won't be quite 2 years. I'll do them around the holidays.
Yeah.
You know? So it's just shy of 2 years and just shy of 4 years. So, but anyway, that's my thing. But yeah, no, you're absolutely right. You got to sit on it. But did you have it? Did you have the one bottle for?
Yeah, I did, because we were already like we were doing a couple. Yeah, I think we were doing a barley wine tasting. So I was kind of like, let's just bring it out. I'll show you. It's cool. It's gonna be good, but it's gonna probably be way out of balance. Like it needs to meld. Right. It's like soup's better the next day kind of thing.
Oh yeah.
Except it's like better the next year.
And chili's better on the third day.
Yeah.
Because the third day is when I make chili cheese dogs. So I'm not sure you're not the chili cheese dogs, but one of my favorite things.
When I make chili, I make enough chili to have it the day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, and there's a little left on day 5. I push it, I get it, but then I freeze some too. So I'll pull that back out.
So my rule of chili is everything brown. You got to put molasses in there. You got to put maple syrup in there. You got to put coffee grounds. You got to put.
I've done coffee grounds.
Dark cocoa.
I've done coffee.
Peanut butter.
I've let coffee sit on the burner for hours. Let it just get overly cooked, and use that in the chili.
Oh,
yeah. I was gonna say I've never put the grounds in. But... I've put like concentrated, you know, not old coffee, but like I've made like I don't know 4 cups of coffee with enough coffee grounds in there for 8 or 10 cups of coffee, and then let that cool, not cool, but just get to room temperature, and then put that in. I've done that, but I never tried it with grounds. So what do you do? So I mean, I guess they would just cook down.
They cook down, disappear. Yeah,
you don't get the crunch.
Yeah, exactly. no crunch. Yeah. But yeah, if you guys are going to Toronto, Godspeed does do a smoked beer festival, which is pretty sweet. And they get all the breweries from Toronto to make smoked beers. But they're known for doing a couple different smoked beers annually. So worthwhile.
Godspeed Smoked Beer Fest.
Yeah.
You know about when that is?
I think it's usually in the winter months. So I was just
definitely want to go to Canada in winter.
Yeah, exactly. I was Googling it, and it looks like the last time they did it was January 2024. But I swear I was just talking with Jeff recently, and he was they just had the Smoked Beer Festival on, so that must have been December of this year.
Okay.
Or December of last year, 2024.
December 24. So they had in January 2024, and then again in December of 2024. Yeah. Gotcha.
All
right, fair enough.
Yeah.
Well, it's something to think about.
Yeah.
Definitely.
If you hear any more, let us know.
Do that. Like John actually did at the Craft Brewers Conference at CBC in Nashville in 2023. we at Barrique
Oh, sweet. Yep.
Brewing in Nashville. John actually did a Rauchbier event.
Nice.
At Barrique, and that was fantastic. There was a good amount of Rauchs there that we
That's great.
we got to hang out and try. Yeah, that was an interesting night. I think we wound up at like 1 o'clock in the morning at a cigar bar that night. So that was pretty.
John,
nice.
You might want to finish what's in your glass and get to the Vike. So
Yeah,
I just took a taste of it.
I gotta dip out though at this point here. Very sorry.
All right.
Short and sweet.
No, don't be sorry.
Yep, we knew you couldn't stay on for too long, but thanks for popping on and talking to us.
Thanks for giving me an excuse to have a cheeky beer.
Yeah, there you go. And again, thanks for the hockey dig the other day. That was sweet.
Sorry, I was like, oh, this is the one time I can talk sports.
It was good though, because as a U.S. hockey fan, us even making it to overtime versus Canada, the men, that's an accomplishment.
Yeah. Now, look, I was proud of the fact that they made it to overtime. I really had hopes that they were going to win, but here's the thing, right? Look, I mean, almost everybody playing in Canada and almost everybody playing for the U.S. play together.
Yeah,
on all the teams.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that's the thing.
I mean,
that's the thing I never get is when you've got a Canadian team come to the Garden to play the Rangers. It's Canadians were in once. They start booing "Oh Canada." I'm like, you realize half our team's from Canada, you assholes. What is wrong with you?
Yeah, exactly.
You're morons.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think that. But what was more memorable? Not memorable, but what was more interesting? The fact that U.S. and Canada went to overtime in the final game. Or the fact that the three
game
fights
between
in
the
US
and
Canada, 3 fights in 9 seconds.
Yeah. Don't tell these guys it's an exhibition.
I texted my dad being like, because we had just watched this Sweden-Norway game, and that was a very civilized European game. And then they first 9 seconds, and I text my dad immediately. He's like, "Finally, hockey! Haven't seen this in years."
Love it.
Yeah.
I went to the fights the other day, and a hockey game broke out.
Yeah,
broke out, right? Exactly. But there you go.
All right,
that's true.
Enjoy, guys.
All right,
always great.
Enjoy, Aslan. Thanks for popping on with us, and we'll circle back around and later on in the year, but I'm going to actually get you, because I know I talked about it and I was remiss. I apologize. I'm going to get you some beer out to you.
Don't worry.
It's been a weird few months.
Yeah, I think you're developing a list of people you need to get beer to.
Life is crazy.
I know I have a list of people I need to get beer to, but yeah, it is. So I'll get some out to you, and then we'll circle back around and get you on again down the road. And whenever Jess and I get up there, we'll definitely stop.
Yeah, please do.
Oh yeah.
But we'll keep in touch and we'll go from there. Absolutely.
Despite what I said, don't stay in Bellingham. Come visit me.
Stay in Bellingham for like 3 days, then go up to Vancouver.
Yeah, do
then go up to Vancouver.
Yeah. All right.
There you go. Fair enough. All right.
Cheers.
You got Aslan. Thanks. Cheers. Take care. Cheers. All right. Well, as they say, it's just you and I. Did you pour yet?
Yeah. Oh, you got a can. Okay. I got a bottle.
You got a bottle. I got a can. Of the what?
Eichschlenker Weichsel.
Weichsel?
Weichsel. Weichsel. That's what that says there.
Weichel. Weichsel. Yes, you're right. SEL, yeah.
This is yums.
Yeah, well, I'm pouring mine. I figured it is. I definitely got to get. I got to get back over to, and I'll be going soon. I got to get back over to Carmine Street, which is actually where I got this one as well. I got to get. Where did you get your
halftime?
You did get that. You got that from halftime too. You got both of them from halftime. Okay.
Yeah, I could order the can, but I wanted the bottles.
Yeah, well, it's the same. Well, the can is 16 ounces. The bottle is like 9/10 of an ounce more.
But I'm just used to. Used to the bottle. The bottle's the classic for Schlenker.
Oh my God!
Yeah, get your first.
Oh my god! I mean, look, you can't go wrong. You cannot go wrong with any Schlenkerla beer. It's just if you want smoke, there's plenty of breweries out there making amazing smoke beers. Try them
But this
all,
is the shit.
but don't pass up
These
getting a
are
Schlenkerla.
well, they're not the OGs per se, but for these, this is the classic. These are the benchmarks. And we talk about benchmark beers a lot, where you'll have a benchmark beer and all other beers with that style are measured against it. But rarely is that benchmark beer at the top. Schlenkerla's at the top.
Yes.
Because you'll get that benchmark beer and like, oh, there's definitely better versions of it, but this is what you judge it against. Like we talked about Anchor Porter being a benchmark, right? And it's a great beer. I absolutely love that beer, but there's better porters out there. You're going to find a better smoke rope beer. This thing's insanely good. Yeah, that's our oak beer. Rot is just German for red.
Yeah, so it's a red beer.
And it's a Rauch beer, and Rauch is just German for smoke. There's a neat thing about German is you can just take like a whole bunch of different words, sandwich them all together to make another word. Yeah,
make another word, right?
To describe what it is. It's a lot of fun. Wish I had an example that came to mind, but nothing's coming to mind.
Nothing's coming to mind. There you go.
That is
fantastic.
That is quite yummy.
Fantastic. Yeah, very, very, very yummy. Cool. This was an interesting show. It definitely we talked about doing something like this in the past. We talked about having a guest on for having two guests on but not simultaneously. Having a guest on, then they sign off, and then having another guest on. So doing almost like a talk show, almost like
Letterman.
Okay, our first like Letterman, our first guest tonight, but
when we did our anniversary show, we had a bunch of guests.
Well, we did, we did. That was the first time we did something like that. But this was kind of cool.
It was fun.
Depending on what. Well, that's the other thing too, right? If we have somebody that we want to get a lot of information out of, and it's a show that can fill an hour and a half, 2 hours. 100%. It's their show. But if there's something, and no disrespect or downplaying any guest, because I'm not even mentioning any, but if there are a couple of guests that the conversation we want to have with them really doesn't need more than 45 minutes, we can have two guests.
I mean, because talking about colonoscopy prep only takes 45 minutes.
It did take 45 minutes, and we know that takes 45 minutes. We know that.
That's in our notes.
Exactly.
You know what?
So
we need to find a brewery that'll make a colonoscopy prep beer.
Colonoscopy cocktail. They don't even have to brew it. They just have to, we can.
We got a little buzz.
It's from a brewery. We can have them on the show, and there you go. Right? We've had people on the show that weren't technically from breweries. I mean, obviously John isn't from a brewery; he's in the business. But we can have anybody we want on the show. Tom comes on the show all the time. He works.
He does now, but when he first started coming on, he didn't.
He didn't, right? That's true. So, but in any event, I digress.
Oh,
there you go.
We had Tara Durden on the show. Yeah. She's not attached to a brewery.
This is very true. She's very attached to brewing. Right. As is he. Obviously, all of the guests we've had on the show over the, coming up on 5 years now.
Oh boy,
5 years.
I have a fortune cookie.
There you go. Have been obviously attached to breweries. Otherwise, they would have nothing to do with coming on the Lager Room Guys show, right? So, what does your fortune cookie say? I need to know the fortune.
Oh, the fortune. I said the fortune cookie says.
I don't need to know what the cookie says. I need to know what the piece of paper inside the cookie is. Right, open it up. There's a piece of paper inside. It says, "Help! I'm being held prisoner in a Chinese fortune cookie
learn
factory."
Chinese. Crab meat, fried rice. It's Jie Rao Chow.
Turn it over.
And my lucky
Turn
numbers
it
are
over. Turn it
44,
over.
5, 30, 15, 43, and 18. Oh, you want this
Turn
side?
it over. Turn it over. I want the other side.
A significant, you will die in a flaming car wreck?
No. Why did I laugh at that?
A significant breakthrough is coming your way.
Oh, please. I hope that means for this show. No, I'm kidding.
And then there's always the fortune cookie game. A significant breakthrough is coming your way in bed.
In bed, right.
That's usually when it happens. Like, oh my God, that would be such a great idea. And then in the morning, you've completely forgotten what the hell it was.
Exactly. Now, were you of the mindset, and I've heard different takes on this, and of course, it's superstition and all the other crap, right? But like, I've heard people say you have to eat half the cookie before you read the fortune, otherwise, it's not going to work. Or you have to eat the whole cookie before you read the fortune, or it's not going to work. I mean, we know it's not going to work anyway. The point? Right? We knew this already.
You know, fortune cookies aren't even Chinese. I think they were invented in Brooklyn.
No, I believe you're
Brooklyn
right.
Where they were first made. Let's see.
Let's find out.
So the fortune cookie. We don't need to know what it is. We know what the fortune cookie is.
We know what a fortune cookie is. We just need to know where it was invented.
Oh no, Kyoto, Japan. It's not Chinese. It's Japanese.
So Japanese invented a Chinese fortune cookie.
Well, very similar in appearance, but not the one that we know. So there's claims that it was made in San Francisco. There's a counterclaim it was Los Angeles. So not
fair
Brooklyn.
enough.
Not Brooklyn.
Anybody.
Well,
not Brooklyn at all. On that note,
whole other side of the country.
Whole other side of the country. I do want to go on record as, and this goes back 2 shows, back to the Schilling show. I do want to make a correction because I actually was going to put up a clip of the show, but I did some due diligence and I did some research. We had both, you and I, had both mentioned when Zach was on, Zach Porter from Schilling, we were talking about pizza and the fact that American-style Italian pizza originated in New Haven. And it's actually incorrect. And I wasn't aware of this either. It was actually in Brooklyn. Okay. It was in Brooklyn, and then after Brooklyn, somebody in New Haven
it was 2 GIs who came over from World War II after serving in Italy.
That, you know what? I mean, I can go back and read what I read. I just read the
It's funny how much of what we know is from GIs bringing it back after World War II, because French fries. The French did not invent frites, as they're called. They're from Belgium.
No.
But the GIs, how many there were that were in Belgium at the time, heard them speaking French. They thought they were in France because half the time the units had no idea where they were after D-Day. Right. So, and they were served these cut fried potatoes. And then in Belgium, you don't get ketchup with them; you get mayonnaise.
Yes, yeah. Well, mayo or an aioli made with mayo to some sort of dressing, a mayo-based dressing, right? My favorite place, and there was many of them, right? It wasn't the only location, but my favorite Pommes frites location in Manhattan was actually on 2nd Avenue between 7th and 8th, between 7th and St. Mark's, because 8th is St. Mark's. There's no 8th it's St. Mark's. And after a night of popping around the village and the East Village, and bar hopping or what have you, and then you go into Criff Dogs right next to Augur's Well to get a couple of hot dogs. Now, mind you, on their own volition, they have to their own credit, I shouldn't say that. To their own credit, they have amazing tots.
Excuse me?
At Criff Dogs, tots, amazing tots, tater tots.
Yes, they do.
Tater tots. Tots. I use an O between the 2 T's. They have amazing tots.
I'm checking.
I know you were. But we used to actually walk. We used to, a couple people would order the hot dogs, and we'd walk up from Criff Dogs. We'd walk up a block and a half to 2nd, and then turn the corner. And on 2nd, on that block in between either side of the street, was Pommes frites. and we get a bunch of pommes frites with different sauces. We'd walk back, and we'd stand outside Criff Dogs and eat the pommes frites and eat the hot dogs. Do you remember going back? Oh, geez, it's a long time now. It's got to be 10 years now, ish, give or take, maybe a little more, somewhere in there. A building blew up on 2nd between 7th and
I don't
St.
remember
Mark's.
that. No.
So it was a gas leak, and the gas service was incorrectly attached to the building. Anyway, the buildings that blew up, pommes frites was one of them. So
that's a flash fry.
it was not a good thing. It wasn't pommes frites. It was a private part of the building. It wasn't, But I mean, it's since been rebuilt and everything else, and I'm not sure. I don't think it was just bad. It was around the corner from Jimmy's 43, which is down the block from McSorley's off of 7th.
And there was a sub-level Belgian beer bar there too. What was that? That was Jimmy's 43. It's got a new name now, though.
It might actually. I'm not sure.
It's got a new name now. What is it called? Because I remember Jimmy's 43 isn't there anymore.
Well, I can just go right to there and Burp Castle.
Burp Castle. Yep, it's Burp Castle. Yeah, it's Burp Castle.
Burp Castle. Yeah, Burp Castle.
It's now Burp Castle. It's a silly name, but yeah.
Well, my favorite Belgian bar was over on St. Mark's. Was only a few doors down from Criff Dogs, closer to Avenue A and Tompkins Square Park. Was the Belgian Room.
Right.
And that place was amazing. And then, of course, that got closed down because, from what I hear, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 9th hand, whatever, the owner of the building that it was in, which also Hop Devil was the other bar there, and they were sister bars, right? You could actually be in Hop Devil and walk over inside to the Belgian Room and back, right? The landlord of that particular building wanted bigger rent, so forced them out, and now it's a Starbucks.
Of course, it is
forced out a pretty decent pizzeria, Hop Devil, and the Belgian Room, and now the whole entire thing is a Starbucks. So gentrification of the East Village. You want that, right?
But you don't want Starbucks
and think you're in Westchester, right?
That's just awful. All I know is I think in August I'll be in a pretty good Belgian beer bar.
I believe you will be. I think you're Delirious.
I'll be in Delirium Bar. One of their 7 bars I think they have. Actually, there is one place I'm gonna have to drive to it to get there. It will be another one of those moments that will elicit a from John.
Of course, you
will be going. I think we'll be going to Bernard Bar.
Mm-hmm.
That's being next door to the brewery itself, Saint Bernardus, and drinking their stuff off tap right there, fresh.
I know.
Something wrong with your eye?
I apologize.
We might be going there, and on that same day, we're probably going to hit the Lambica from Dry Fontainen.
Sure.
That should be a fun day.
And if I've on the show, I've had plenty of St. Bernardus, and I've actually had Dry Fontainen on the show too.
So we'll see about doing that. And
just not in their own respective locations. That's all.
Yeah, so we might do that. We might even get up to Duvel. Might you get to? I don't even know where they are. They are halfway. They're halfway between Brussels and Rotterdam.
Where is Het Anchor in relation?
Say what now?
Het Anchor. Good Carolus. It's brewed by Het Anchor Brewery. So.
Let's see. They are. I forget where they are.
Me too.
Het Anchor is. Why is this not showing me on the map? It's like popped up on this, and You sure it's not Netherlands? It's in
What's that?
Netherlands, isn't it?
Head Anchor?
There's a town called Head Anchor that's in the Netherlands.
Oh, no. Head Anchor is in it's in Mechelen, Belgium.
Michelin? Like the Michelin map?
Mechelen.
No, I have it. It's that's actually they're not too far from Duvel. I'm sorry. When I was talking about Duvel, it's halfway between Brussels and Antwerp. So is Head Anchor. So if I put the Duvel, what's got? The two of them are 18 minutes away from each other.
Look at that. Look at that. Well, the reason I say is because one of my favorite, other than St. Bernardus 12, one of my favorite quads is Cuvée Van de Keyser Black.
Mm-hmm. Well, we're going to be going to, I believe it's in Ghent. Or is it in Bruges? I'm going to have to.
And if I recall, and this is doesn't go back years. If I recall, Cuvée Van de Keyser, it's the Cuvée Van de Keyser, the beer of the king, right? It is brewed on the Emperor, King, whatever you want to call him, his birthday, which was yesterday, which was February 24th, and they invite townsfolk to come in and help brew.
That's cool. Hope they wash their hands.
So I imagine that they have safety procedures. I'm sure
there's help.
I'm sure they're not getting into the brew kettle. I'm sure they're handing a bag of grain or something along those lines. Right? But in any event, I've always wanted to do that, honestly, because it's the 24th is Jess's birthday.
Yes, it is.
And happy birthday!
Happy birthday yesterday.
Happy birthday, and a few hours late to Jessica, right there. But I've always wanted to go over for her birthday, and go to Head Anchor and help brew the beer. That would be awesome. And on that note, happy birthday to my lovely daughter Rachel. Her birthday is today.
I saw the post that you called her on the hour of her birth.
On the hour of her birth, yes. Yeah,
as your wrote. We're going to be doing a loop. We'll have a car in Brussels, and we're going to be heading off into. Let's see, where is it? What town? It is. I have no idea how to pronounce this. It is in the Netherlands. We're going to be driving to the Netherlands to Hertogenbosch.
Amsterdam.
Nope. Hertogenbosch. Because we're going to go to the Hieronymus Bosch Museum.
Hertogenbosch.
Stop. But on the way back, we'll be driving through Antwerp.
What did I say?
And going to probably Duvel and maybe where they do. Well, here's the thing: in Europe, if you go to the brewery, it's highly likely, like when you went to Laird's, it's highly likely that's just a production facility, and you're not going to be served anything.
There's a lot of breweries that are like
but
that.
especially Europe.
Yeah. Well, that's what I meant. In Europe, there's a lot of breweries that are like that. That they don't have. It's not like America, right? It's not the U.S. or a lot of the places where they don't have tasting rooms. They don't have retail outlets. It's just a production facility, and it goes out from there to wherever, to distribution, whatever. So you can run into that from time to time if you're over in Europe, and in several other places. I mean, obviously in the U.S. as well.
Yeah, it's interesting though, because if you do what I do and you're just like pinning stuff on a map and just come across stuff like I was doing with with Aslan on the show, and he's mentioning a brewery and pulling up on the map and looking at all the other breweries in the area, and on Google Maps it shows up as orange as a restaurant, eatery, place to drink, bar, whatever. But Google Maps doesn't differentiate between the brew pub and the brewery itself, and sometimes you might have this orange pin and you go there, and unless you're an employee, you're not getting in the building. So you got to be careful with it. And, so if you're doing your research, you're going through and you're trying to find a place to go and drink. It's like, oh my God, I want to go here, and then you pin it. Do your research. Pull up the website. See if they have operating hours. If they actually have a tap room or not. A lot of times they don't. So because they use a lot of they use the restaurants in towns as their tap rooms. Munich's famous for that.
Yep.
So,
well, there you have it. All right. All right. Well, what are you? What's coming up this week for you?
This week, let's see. Work. Then I work, and then there's more work.
Beer wise, what's coming up this week?
Well, as you know, I've been cutting back a little bit.
Yep.
So
I clearly mean the week.
Yeah, well, we're probably going to be out in the Morristown area because we want to do. It's going to be nights this weekend, so we want to get. Yeah, we want to get out, and, take a walk in the woods. So we'll probably do some geocaching. So we'll be out there. So we'll probably stop in at Double Tap. Go see the guys there.
Jeff, if you're still listening or still watching, warn everyone.
Yep, bring your gas masks. It'll probably be gassy.
Yeah. And on that note, it's the first weekend of March, right? I mean, Saturday's March 1st. So it is. So Sunday being March 2nd, and the first Sunday in March is in Belmar is Parade Day.
Parade Day.
It is Parade Day. So I will be imbibing and a lot of Guinness, red ales, Irish whiskey. I will be consuming some Irish beef stew and corned beef and cabbage.
Maybe a Reuben or two.
Maybe some box tea. And, the Reubens will be on Monday or Tuesday. But if there's any corned beef left, that is, but yeah, so it'll be fun. We have a good time every year, and it kicks off the St. Patrick's Day, which has turned into the St. Patrick's Day month, right? I mean, so but what's good about that is the 3 days later on Wednesday next week is our next End of Chaser episode, and it will be featuring St. Patty's Day type libations. Thank you. I believe we're doing Irish whiskey cocktail, a dry Irish stout paired with a dry Irish stout, and I think we're doing a carb.
Yes,
too.
but we're not allowed to use Guinness.
The Guinness is the only dry Irish stout we cannot use, and dry Irish stout, dealer's choice.
Or an export stout would work as well.
Export stout's fine as well. So we're working on that, and then. But this
Actually,
Saturday,
I may do an Irish car bomb with Gold Wide Stout. I'll be on the floor when I'm done. But
I was going to say, you do you. That's all I can say. This Saturday, however, and neither myself nor Dave are attending, but there are two beer fests.
Yes.
This Saturday, there is the Allison
Big Beer Fest.
Big Beer Fest up in Morristown.
Yes, that'll be at the Armory.
At the Armory, and this year I believe it's only one session. I believe it's just the.
That's where the
session.
first Big Beer Fest occurred.
Right. That's where the first Big Beer Fest occurred, and in the evening over in the Liberty Science Center is Brizology.
That's a fun one.
Mm-hmm. That's a fun one as well.
And hopefully the Gila Monster will be out.
There you go. So if you're anywhere near Morristown, New Jersey, or Jersey City, New Jersey, on Saturday, and feel like a beer fest or two, have at it. You actually can do both. You actually can go to the day session with a designated driver. Mm-hmm. You can do both.
I know that Albertillo is doing the Big Beer Fest.
Albertillo.
James is doing Brizology.
Brian is doing Brizology.
Oh, Brian is too. Okay.
Yep. I am doing that.
Neither am I.
Yeah, I guess. But it'll be it's going to be a fun day. So have at it. If you're anywhere near Belmar, enjoy the parade day on Sunday as well. So, and that's just one of many parade days coming up this entire month or the next entire month. It's still in February, obviously. Yeah, you're gonna Asbury Park comes up. There's obviously, New York City St. Patrick's Day Parade is kind of a big one, and another large one actually is in Pearl
It's
River,
actually
New
the
York.
second largest in the country.
Second largest in the country, behind, and you'd never guess it, Savannah, Georgia.
That's the largest, huh?
Savannah, Georgia is the largest St. Patrick's Day parade in the United States.
Chicago gets a lot of green food dye, and
Pearl River is number 2, and Chicago and Boston are I think 3 and 4. Yeah. And New York's 5, I believe, behind New York City, Manhattan. Chicago, they dye the river. They dye the Chicago River green. That's always fun. So I want to get out there for that.
That would be a fun one.
Yeah, that would be a fun one. Anyway, all right. I guess we're good. We got an interesting show next week. It's gonna be a fun show next week. Because next week is Fat Tuesday.
Oof, it's appropriate for me.
Yeah, next week is Fat Tuesday. Next Tuesday
I'm
is
fat
Tuesday,
every
which
Tuesday.
means there you go. Which also means that Wednesday is Ash Wednesday and the beginning of Lent, but just means we all need to give up something.
No, I'm not Catholic. I don't gotta give up crap.
I'm gonna give up. I'm gonna give up not writing show notes.
Gonna give up not writing show notes.
I'm gonna give up not writing show notes.
Okay.
All right. So there you go. Anyway, on that note, just kidding. We will.
We've got a final comment
next Tuesday. Though. So tune in. We do have a final comment.
The comment. The person who opened the show with comments is closing the show with a comment.
The comment opener is ending the show. Finally made it home after several margaritas and Mexican.
You weren't driving.
I'm assuming he means food.
You never know it, Brian.
You never know. Yes, let's assume it's food. After several margaritas, Mexican. Hey, you know what? Kudos. I enjoy a good margarita.
Actually,
and good
National
Mexican.
Margarita Day just passed. When it did. It passed on, when was it? It was that was Saturday. Saturday was National Margarita Day, the day after National Malort Day.
Well, there you go. There you go. All right. Fair enough. All right. Well, make sure you tune in next week. It's going to be a fun show. On that note, for today, though, we will wrap up the show. We want to thank everybody for watching. And for those of you just listening to the audio podcast, thank you for listelistening. Don't forget to visit our website, www.logrum. www.logrum.com. It's LAGERROOM.com. And please remember, like us and follow us on all of our social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and of course, our YouTube channel. All of them are at The Lager Room. Remember, we go live with the video podcast on Facebook, YouTube, X, and Twitch every Tuesday night around 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And for those of you who just want to listen to the audio podcast, you could do so on our audio host Spreaker, as well as iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Odyssey, Audible, Pandora, Amazon, TuneIn, Podcast Addict, Castbox, Deezer, Podchaser, Listen Notes. Pretty much anywhere you can find an audio podcast, you will find the Log Room Guys Craft Beer Podcast. And new this week, you can find us on YouTube Music Podcasts.
Cool.
Yes, we have our YouTube channel for the video, which you can watch anytime. You can go back and watch any of our videos. They're all on our YouTube channel, and any of the shows. But on the YouTube Music app, you can actually listen to the podcast, the audio podcast on those as well. Anyway, and if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to one or more of those feeds, and you will never miss a show. Again, thanks for following along with us. Have a great rest of your week. Have a wonderful weekend. Drink a lot of beer, but drink responsibly. And we will talk to you next week, folks. Take care. Cheers.